See if this is going to click on or not. Hello. It took me a while. The reel just kept spinning, saying going live, going live. Anyhow, for entertainment purposes only. Um, and I am not a doctor. I've just gone through a lot of crap. So, healing wise. And we all seem to do it. We need to try and stay positive, live in gratitude, and continue on a more spiritual path and get out of all the drama that is caused by everybody in everyday life, from politics to everything else. So, just some of the ways I'm going to be looking at my notes and stuff. So, if you see me drop my glasses, you know I can't see. So, uh, stress. Stress does a lot to our bodies. Um, I mean, stress can take you out, you know, in more ways than one. You can wind up 6 feet under. Um, try try to eliminate as much stress as possible. I know some things, money wise and work wise, can cause a lot of stress. Children can cause a lot of stress. Children can have a lot of stress. So, just some of the ways um, to de stress is get back to nature, take nice long walks, and I prefer to connect with nature, whether I'm out gardening or if I take a walk back in the woods, um, or down by the creek, you know, put water, greens, everything that is natural. You know, I mean, I used to, when I was younger, we had a horse farm and our property went all the way back to the woods and down to a creek. And there was a couple trees that were knocked down. I would honestly sit there on the logs and just watch the wildlife. You know, I didn't care what kind of wildlife it was. You know, there'd be rabbits and squirrels and chipmunks. I love chipmunks. And, and the deer. And the deer were never afraid of me, and which is good because, and I think part of that is because my spirit guide name is Running Fawn. She's a female shaman, um, and I would say she's Choctaw, um, because it's past life with me. So, Native American. I want to get more into knowing more about the Native American traditions, because I think all of us could learn a lot from them, um, instead of dealing with all the, uh, well, as the pharmacy likes to, just drug you up, you know, and, kind of spit you out. So, anyhow, so, because honestly, with more stress, you wind up with more cancer, you wind up with more illnesses, because that's all stress related. When you can eliminate the stress, you can eliminate a lot of the illnesses that are in your body. Um, I mean, I finally got my thyroid ultrasound back, and by taking the iodine, I have reduced 6 nodulars down to just 2 nodulars, and they have decreased half size. So I am going to continue taking my iodine because your body needs iodine. If you go through and check out all the different minerals that your body needs, iodine is one. Salt is one, but yet the doctors always are saying, take salt out of your diet. Well, there's a difference in how much salt you take, but salt is a needed mineral for your body to function properly. Copper is another one. You got to have copper in stuff. You know, you don't take excessive amounts. I take a multivitamin that's got all the minerals in it that you need. But it didn't have iodine in it. So I started taking the iodine. Um, Meditation is a great way also to reduce stress. And I know a lot of people say, I don't know how to meditate. I can't seem to get into meditation. When you do something, whether it's listening to music or painting or anything, even walking, if you've got your headset on and you're listening to music, you're pretty much in a meditative state. You do kind of have to keep an eye on your surroundings because there's a lot of, how do I want to put it? Strange things that happen. So you always want to keep an eye on that stuff. But that's even when you're doing the dishes. Put the music on. I zone totally out when I'm doing dishes or when I'm doing laundry. Plus I also meditate while I'm in the shower. Just visualize all the negative going down the drain when you're soaping up. There's so many different ways of meditating, and just sitting peacefully. Another way, you can do is, especially in the wintertime, or if you do an outside, fire at the end of the night, having a couple cocktails, just fixate on the flames. The flames have a very calming reaction to your body. It calms you right down. Another thing, have a fish aquarium. I used to sit for hours and just watch my fish. Still need to get the boyfriend's fish tank up and running after buying it 10 years ago. He's just a little slow getting that done. But, maybe by this winter we'll get that, done. Also, another way to meditate is garden work. Just kind of lose yourself out there. If you can't, the sounds of water, like if you're down by a creek or if you go to Niagara Falls, thankfully we have that fairly close to us. That's within a 20-mile drive. So, I'm one of the lucky ones living in Western New York. We have the Adirondacks, not that far from us. We have Lake George in New York State. We have Niagara Falls in the States. So New York has a lot to offer. We have a lot of county parks and state parks that offer a lot. But get out in nature. That's one way. Too many people are sitting on their cell phones. I have mine set so that I am on it less than 3 hours a day. And that's checking my business to see if anybody needs an appointment, because I do Reiki and I also do spiritual readings. So, if you need, call me, there's, wait a second, there's the phone number. That phone you will get a answering machine to. We finally got Magic Jack working, In fact, now they sent me a second one. So now I have to contact them tomorrow and say, what would you like me to do with the second one? Because I only need one. But we had so much problems getting it to begin with. It got lost before it even left the plant. So, that's another thing. Another way, go to the beach, go fishing. If you've got little kids, a lot of little kids like to fish, I never used to like to put the worm on the hook. I used to make my brother-in-law do that because that was not something I wanted to touch. But then again, I was only 5 years old at that time. But kids like to do that type of stuff. Also, crafts. And that's CRAFTS, not CRAPS. Depends on how your sound comes out. But crafting with your hands. that's very meditative. I just got done making a sign because being in Western New York, my football team is the Buffalo Bills. So I just got done. Let's see if I can bring it up because I didn't feel like bringing the sign downstairs. But this is one of the things. It's whoops this way. Go. It says there's a G up there. It says "Go Bills." And then on the other side, when it's not bill season, I will be putting welcome on it. And I did that all freehand. Didn't have the boyfriend wanted to get me stencils and this and that. And I kind of took that as an insult. But he said, "Whoa, I didn't realize you could paint without a stencil. You've been with me for over 10 years. You should know that. I can, that's why I do, my resin work and my paintings. I can do things freehand, and I get a lot of enjoyment out of it. And I've had people honestly buy some of my artwork. So, take up hobbies, and lose yourself in that. When you can do that, you release a lot of stress. I wear crystals. This one here is lapis. Then I have sodals. I have aquamarine. What is that? Sodalite, turquoise, amethyst, and smoky quartz. Those are just some of the ones I wear. And I always carry a hematite in my pocket. That keeps you grounded. Walking outside barefooted on the grass keeps you grounded. Hug a tree. May look stupid, but who cares? Hug a tree. So, since we bought this property in 2019, we have planted, and it's a small lot. We've planted a river birch in the front, and we have a fruit tree that's got to go in the back. We did a red bud in the back, and I planted 3 lilac bushes and a hydrangea bush. So along with 2 rows of Sharons that are going to be going back in, and the gardening and stuff that we do. So there's things and there's ways of eliminating the stress. On the news, okay? If you watch the news 24/7, you're going to go nuts, okay? Limit it. I limit it to 15 minutes to a half an hour and no longer. I go through, share what I feel is important, and then the rest of the day, I'm off doing what I got to do. Now, this week, I got to check on my sister. Last weekend, we went over and cleaned up her property because she's 76 and stuff, and it's harder for her to do that stuff. Her weed whacker shit the bed. So we've got one. So, in fact, we've got 3, but only one right now is working because he took the brand new one apart and can't seem to get it back together. So, that's how that goes. But now Sunday, we'll be going through everything and tossing a bunch of stuff that is no longer usable and can't be recycled and stuff like that because it's our big junk day. So on the 28th. And then we've got a massive Alden car show this weekend. So if you're looking for something to do and you live in Western New York, come on down into Alden and go to the car show. All proceeds from the car show go to Mercy Flight. And it's a great cause. I used to help them out and stuff. I used to be one of the volunteers. I don't now just because the volunteers have to be there for the whole time, and it started at 6 a.m. and we never got done until 6 p.m. And that's, as now that next week I'll be turning 60 or 70. I wish I was still 60. I'll be turning 70. So there's just certain things I just can't do anymore, So I pace myself on what I can do. And especially after the year of health issues last year because of doctors giving me the wrong medication. Another thing is exercise. Stress is reduced by exercise. I, for one, hate exercise. So I know people that just don't like it. So that's not a problem. Just take a walk, you know, don't make it into an exercise. You can walk at your own pace, put your headset on, and just chill out, go around the block a couple times. Or if you can't handle a couple times, just go around once. Thankfully in the village here, we have small blocks. So that's always good. And, if you can pair up with somebody, it makes it a little easier. You've also got yoga you can do. I unfortunately have a hiatal hernia, so there's a lot of the yoga positions I can't do because my esophagus doesn't close. And that's not good if you've just eaten. So, because things come up. Also, painting, take up hobbies, anything to reduce your stress. Living in gratitude. Be grateful for the smallest things. I love watching the birds. I have, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 feeders around the house. I got a couple in the front and the other ones are in the back. But if it's not really, really hot, go outside, sit at your picnic table or your outside table and, watch the birds. That can be very relaxing. It's not as relaxing when my dog decides to chase after the squirrels. He knows with me, I say, don't touch, leave them alone. But the boyfriend goes, "I'll go get them. They don't need to be here." It's like, no, God created all of us. Leave the squirrels alone, really. So, but, when you can do what you love to do, and if you need extra money, take up a hobby that you like and see if you can sell stuff, because money is going to be tight with all the prices going up on everything. Our gas prices here are up. My grocery prices, I'm probably paying an extra $100, a month towards my groceries. And I have to eat gluten-free, which is always 10 times more expensive to begin with. And drink a lot of water. Water's good for you. If you don't like the taste of water, put a little fruit in it. Some people, I'll sometimes put lemon in it. Sometimes I'll put just a chunk of strawberry in it. Sometimes cucumber, something just to change the taste just a little. Sometimes I'll take, because I drink Body Armor. I prefer it over blood pressure and stuff like that, because you want your heart to keep